Okay, then we have the muscle architecture. So now we're going to get, Superman generated from here. Somebody talked about Superman being in the Bible as well. So we have muscle architecture, and we also talk about athletes having certain types of architecture that enables them to be better performance at long distance running versus sprinting. We talk about the athletes that come from Africa and those from the highlands of Scotland. And so, even physical features have been used in determining certain other attributes of our existence. And so you're going to mark which racial characteristics you're seeing from muscle architecture. Then we have this nervous system. The fact that you can move your hand, your action potentials of your muscle, nerve fibers are firing, sending messages to your brain that's asking other parts of your bodies to react. Professor Danzi challenged me to talk about intelligence, the brain, the hub of the nervous network. So you're going to find identifying features for race here too, because it's all part of human existence. And then we can add all our soft tissue organs as well. So ladies and gentlemen, what we've presented are individual parts which brought together make up the individuals. And has anybody found any characteristic features that you could use for racial classification thus far? So what is it that makes us, this is all part of who we are, so what is it that gives us the power to classify? My skin color? Okay, don't talk about my height, right? Because that's an unusual one. You can see I had to disturb all the setups that were done here for the tall people. So this is an important thing. We make a joke about it because this is the reality. When we start to bring in the way in which socializing affects our human psyche, it is not usually the biology or the things that keep us moving or some of the hard science that drives these arguments. And I think we need to start bringing in science a lot more. You try till you're blue in the face, but you've seen how some people view science. Trump will say fake news. But anyway, so having just used that as a metaphor to home in on the point, can you see the difference? We label people as black, white, gay, straight, Catholic, atheist, human. Can you see the difference? I can see people saying no. All right, so here we are. So we can think about physical features, etc. And then, of course, we have this biological material that is a shared ancestry. Why is it a shared ancestry? Because we've inherited from our parents, they from theirs, and so on and so on and so on. In each generation, the number of ancestors doubles. So for those of you who are mathematically inclined, work out 30 generations ago, how many ancestors contributed? 10 to the power 30. So you can quickly do that, right? That's the number of ancestors. So at some point, some of our ancestry is going to have shared common individuals going back into the past. So now, what I try to do when I give presentations about genetics is to take people on this journey of trying to build on the existence of shared heritage, because then you understand biology a little bit more. And when you do this, and you look at the shared ancestry of all people living in the world, then what we've come to understand from many, many studies is that people in Africa harbor the most ancient genetic signatures found in the world. And if you were to imagine a funnel, that we use in the kitchen, stand it upside down with a wide brim being in Africa, then the narrow part will be what went out of Africa. And now if you imagine there's like a cocktail of colored balls in the jar from Africa, and only a few colors came out of Africa. The source of it all comes back to Africa. And only a few of the variables left the continent and become reassorted. So today, if you were to take a snapshot of anywhere in the world, you may see some differences, but ultimately, all of that has its origins coming back to Africa. So this is what formed the basis of the theory of evolution linked around the out of Africa theory of origin of modern humans. Modern humans, you and I, our species, Homo sapiens sapiens. Another thing that's come out of this is that no matter where you sample, more than 90% of that variation is going to be within that group. Okay? So when we heard about pure populations, you know, Hitler's way of thinking, etc., and if we introduce the science, we may look a little bit similar, blonde hair, blue eyes, the kind of boys from Brazil scenario that Hitler kind of advocated. The genetics will show you something quite illuminating. And so this is why it is important to slowly bring in evidence of science and to ask questions about how and why. So now if we look at pigment, for example, yes, we do see a spectrum of change of the amount of melanosomes we all have, and that is what gives us the color that we see at the skin level. Maybe the hair, the eyes, and all of this is actually due to human adaptation in different geographic regions. In areas where there was a lot of UV light, dark skin was selected for because it gave protection to people. And as people moved away from the tropics into regions where there was less amount of sunlight, less intensity of UV, to allow the sun to penetrate the darker skin to make vitamin D, skin lightening became selected for. So we are literally walking examples of processes of selection that allowed our species to be as successful as it is today.